welcome back to another Railfan adventure. Now, for the longest day of the year back in June, we ventured out to one of our more favorite spots we like to go to, the Chattanooga Subdivision. So let's go ahead and head out and see what we can find.
Alright, good morning guys. It's 5 o'clock.
Let me run to check my door really quick. I'll be right back.
Alright. We got Caleb driving us today. Please pray for us.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, they might be in trouble, everybody.
Yeah.
Although I am a granny driver, so that might be better for
Zeb's
us.
going to his apartment, make sure everything's locked up.
I'm getting the scanner ready.
Okay. I'm gonna grab my scanner, use that one, and put the batteries in it. Or we get over the
Is this yours?
Yeah.
Do you got the Chattanooga sub stuff?
I think I do.
Okay. Then
I had a crap program where we went on the.
Do you have batteries in it, or are they dead? Thank you, John, for the immaculate clip of us getting ready to leave. Now, after we picked up Zeb and Wesley, we had a pretty eventful drive on the way east. After stopping for breakfast in Stevenson, we heard east of Raccoon Mountain was going to get especially busy this morning, so we made our way further east. We've made our way all the way to Wauhatchie, Tennessee, the southern terminus of the CSX Chattanooga Subdivision, as well as the northernmost point on the Norfolk Southern AGS North District. We've made it just in time, as a northbound CSX is ready to head towards Nashville. Northbound is CSX M58218, and I designate specifically that it's -18 because we may see another 582 later. Leading is CSX 3284, which is really interesting because this engine has a K3LA. Fun story about this train, as we pulled up, we saw it parked at the signal there at Wauhatchie, and so we parked at Wauhatchie Pike up on that hill up there in the gravel lot next to the track. And then the crew came on the radio and asked Halcon if that was them up there at the parking at Wauhatchie Pike. To which they said no. They said, well, a car just pulled up. So we were briefly thought to be Halcon when we were actually just a bunch of rail fans waiting on the train. We moved very quickly just in case anything would come out of it. .58218 was a pretty big train, with 2 engines on the head end and 2 DPs. After 582 finally cleared us, we made our way to a more familiar spot for us at Wauhatchie, the connection where Norfolk Southern Memphis East District trains take the connection to get on the Chattanooga Subdivision on trackage to head towards Stevenson. And we've made it just in time as a westbound is approaching. Westbound manifest NS A23 makes its way west towards Sheffield. Now, this may not be the only time we see this train, as just a short while after it cleared, it stalled as it was headed up Raccoon Mountain. This caused a headache for all the trains on the Chattanooga Subdivision. Well, what's this we got right here? A northbound CSX has pulled up to the signal at Wauhatchie to get a new crew to head towards Nashville. This thing has 5 motors, the last 2 of which are CP. Turns out this is a G320 empty grain train, but that's not all. It's actually combined with a B650. Now, B650 is usually an empty ethanol that runs from Charlotte, North Carolina back to CP, KC, and Bensenville, Chicago, Illinois. At the time of this recording, most of the Charlotte B trains were running via Corbin because the clinch field was closed because of the whole Hurricane Helene situation. But since this was combined with the G320 for Evansville, they ran the whole train via Chattanooga. The train has a new crew, and now it's ready to blast off. We're going to fast forward a little bit because I believe, if I remember correctly, this took about 10 minutes to clear, and then right after it cleared, it stopped because of the whole, A23 stalling at Raccoon situation. Because of the mess caused by A23, there really wasn't anything left to see on the CSX side. However, we got word that the NS AGS North was about to get busy. A southbound has pulled up in the siding here at Wauhatchie. It has to wait on 2 northbounds before heading to Birmingham. After a while wait because the Chattanooga Debut's yard would not answer, the first northbound makes its way towards the yard.
We are good on power. We got 3,800 gallons, both engines. Over.
Now, you want to tell me what you're doing?
Side down. Take the 5-minute with a 3.
This is NS 142, daily manifest train from Norris Yard in Irondale, Alabama, headed all the way to Elkhart, Indiana. Now, why does this train originate in Birmingham instead of Chattanooga? Well, they have the 108 PSR'd into it. This train's pretty big, and it needs a DP. Hot on 142's tail is northbound number 2.
laps on. 4 of them. Yes, same things.
Northbound number 2 is NS 130 Daily Manifest train originating off of the Union Pacific in New Orleans, Louisiana, and it's going to terminate just to the north of us into Butts Yard in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now, it coming off of the UP explains the leader, a fairly new repainted UP Thundercab SD70 Ace. Very nice leader. Now that the northbounds have cleared, that southbound gets the signal to head towards Irondale. But wait a minute, is that a heritage unit I see? By golly, it is a heritage unit. NS 1066, the New York Central Heritage Unit, is leading NS 15T to Irondale. This train at the time was running from Knoxville, Tennessee to Irondale, and it was nice to finally see 1066 again. The only other time before this I had seen 1066 was actually in Irondale on a rerouted 69X way back in 2022, I think. That was a crazy trip too, but it was really nice to see this engine, and this won't be the last time you'll see him, as we may see him some more next month. After 15T cleared, we decided to go ahead and start making our way back west as we were getting ready for lunch. Wauhatchie was really nice this time. We got a lot of good trains. I think this is the most trains I've ever seen at Wauhatchie at once. And we even got to meet our friend Kirk, also known as Tag Rail, for the first time. It was nice to actually finally get to meet him, although we do give him a hard time online all the time since he's a Tennessee Volunteers fan. But all jokes aside, he and us, we all had a good time at Wauhatchie, and so now we're going to head back west. We're now at CP James, the western end of the double track, right before you get to Nickajack Lake, as we have a few southbounds approaching. first train to try to tackle the grade of Raccoon Mountain is M585 with a pretty friendly crew. You see the conductor there waving at us. Got a pretty big power lash up on this one, including a DP. 585 is southbound intermodal CSX I-154 with an SD70 Mac leading. Now we didn't stay here for the whole train as we're going to position a little bit further to our west for the next northbound. We've made it down to Nickajack Lake, and we have a northbound work train with a really cool power set coming. Continuing west, as we got to Alaten, we saw an eastbound NS stopped. Just a few short minutes later, here comes a northbound CSX. The northbound is CSX M58219, the second 582 we've seen today, with a little bit better of a leader this time. We have a YN2 AC44. It's always nice to see these YN2s leading in this day and age. The NS gets a signal to continue eastward, and it's a loaded coal train, 732. Now, where are the BNSF motors? Where's the orange power? It's out back on the rear. After lunch, we made it back to Bridgeport just in time to see two trains we've already seen today. That work train coming back south light power and A23, although A23 now will have a new leader since the whole situation at Raccoon Mountain. I'm going to shut up now and let you watch these two, and then we'll come back to close. after we saw A23 again, it was time for us to go ahead and start headed back west, so we went on home. Overall, it was a really great day. We got a lot of variety and a few spots we don't get to go to as often. We got to go all the way out to Wauhatchie, saw a Heritage unit, and a bunch more on the AGS North, which is actually nice to see stuff on the AGS North for once. Usually it's dead as a doornail when we go try to be on any portion of the AGS North, be it Wauhatchie or Birmingham or wherever. I'm going to go ahead and warn you guys, this is definitely not going to be the last time you see the Chattanooga Subdivision or Chattanooga in general this year. We have I think at least 3 more videos from Chattanooga this year across the last couple of months. 2 on the Chattanooga Subdivision and 1 actually on the NS in Chattanooga, which was pretty fun as well. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like on the video. And if you really like this content and want to see more like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it below. It means a lot. Once again, thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Have a good day.